You ready?
And that's why I'm here today with my Seinfeld expert, Beiierin. So I take it that you are a big fan of Seinfeld, correct?
I love Seinfeld.
And that's
It's like one of my favorite shows.
and that's what we're gonna test today. So I've got a list of quotes from the show, and you simply have to identify which character said the quote on the screen. Starting
All right.
with this one. Boy, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Okay. Technically, every character said this line.
Correct.
But the one who started it was Cosmo Kramer for the role he got doing a weird movie.
It was Cosmo Kramer.
Oh, boy, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Moving on to the second quote. Looking at cleavage is like looking into the sun. You don't stare at it, it's too risky. You get a sense of it, then you look away.
I remember this episode. And it was Jerry said this to George because he was looking at one of the NBC producer's daughter's cleavage.
The exact moment as well, and to who? That is correct. It was Jerry
Yes.
Seinfeld.
Looking at cleavage is like looking at the sun. You don't stare at it. It's too risky.
Moving into quote number 3. You're a nice guy, but I actually only have 3 friends. I can't really handle anymore.
Pretty sure this was Elaine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just can't recall which episode it was exactly, because there's a bunch that I can think of. But yeah, that was definitely Elaine.
This actually is a Jerry Seinfeld line.
Jerry?
Jer-
What are you trying to say, Jerry?
Look, Ramon, you're a nice guy, but I actually only have 3 friends. I really can't handle anymore.
Oh, I see. It's
Moving on to the next one. My dream is to become hopeless.
Well, I mean, I think that's a George Costanza line.
It has
If
to be a
it's
George
not,
Costanza line.
yes,
It has to be a George
pretty
Costanza
sure.
line.
My dream is to become hopeless.
So even I can't remember this line. I could just tell from what it says that it's a George Costanza line.
Moving to the next quote. Hello, Newman.
You answered it yourself. I mean, actually, again, all characters I think at some point say this, but the one who started it was Jerry Seinfeld.
It is Jerry Seinfeld.
Hello, Newman.
Hello, Newman.
Moving on to the next quote. I once broke up with someone for not offering me pie.
That one is Elaine, and all I can remember was that she said this on the subway. She either said this at on the subway, or she said this at that coffee shop. It's Elaine. I think she said it at the coffee shop.
I can confirm this was Elaine.
I once broke up with someone for not offering me pie.
Moving on to
Yes.
the next quote. Those were my everyday balloons.
Oh damn, wait, that's a tough one. Which episode is this from? Give me a hint, because I think this is Kramer.
Just ask
But I
yourself.
can't remember.
Just ask yourself, who would have everyday balloons?
Definitely Kramer. That's for sure.
Are we locking it in?
Yeah, we're going with the big K.
That is Kramer.
Oh, those aren't for New Year's. Those are my everyday balloons.
And your next quote is, if she can't find me, she can't break up with me.
I know this one. This is George.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he recorded that telephone message, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out. Or I'm not gonna. Okay. But yeah, I think that's the episode. Costanza.
It was George Costanza. Correct.
Yeah.
If she can't find me, she can't break up with me.
Let's move on to the next quote. You know, it's funny. The tomato never took on as a hand fruit.
That sounds like something all of them would say. But it's got this comedic ring to it. So I'm gonna go with Jerry, but I could be wrong. I'm ready to take the L.
What I can tell you is that this is a Costanza line.
It is! I should have known. He eats onions. For sure.
You know, it's funny, the tomato never really took off as a hand fruit.
The next quote is, I can't be with someone who doesn't break up nicely. It's an important part of the relationship.
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember which episode this was. Because I think this happens to all of them. So I can't really...
I mean, the show does have a lot of relationships and breakups like throughout, but
Yeah. I think it's George. I think it was a girl who told him to shut up. I'm not sure. Hit me.
this in fact was Elaine.
Elaine?
It was Elaine.
I can't be with someone who doesn't break up nicely.
Moving on
Yeah.
to the next quote. You're just as pretty as any of them. You just need a nose job.
That's Kramer. I remember that one. That's Kramer for sure.
Such a powerful moment. Who else has this ability? But you are correct. Who has this ability to be so forward, so honest with someone?
Well, you're as pretty as any of them. Just need a nose job.
Moving on to the next one. I'm speechless. I'm without speech.
Don't they all say that?
They do, but who was the initial person to come up with the line?
I think it was George. It's either George or Jerry. I think it was George. I'm speechless. I am without... Yeah, I think it was George. George.
I hate to say this.
Costanza.
This is attributed to Elaine.
What?
George does say it eventually, but Elaine was the first.
Okay, but George does say it.
George does say it.
So let's go with half a point.
I am speechless. I am without speech.
Deal.
Moving on to the next one. You ever dream in 3D? It's like the boogeyman's coming right at you.
That one is Kramer. Yeah, pretty sure.
That is Kramer.
Kramer.
You ever dream in 3D? It's like the boogeyman is coming right at you.
Moving on to the next one. We don't know how long this will last. They are very festive people.
Oh, I know this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Cuban Puerto Rico parade thing, and they get stuck in traffic, but I don't remember who says it. It could be, yeah, I think it's Elaine. I'm gonna go with Elaine.
Believe it or not,
Okay.
you are correct. It was Elaine who said this.
Hey!
You got an Elaine
Hey!
one right.
Was it? Yeah, was it the Puerto Rican?
It was the Puerto
Parade?
Rican. They are very festive people.
Hey.
They are a very festive people.
Moving on to the next one. She said I wasn't sponge worthy. Wouldn't waste a sponge on me.
Remember this. This ended up happening. So it started with Elaine, and then it ended up happening to either George or Jerry. I think it happened to Jerry. I'm pretty sure this happened to Jerry with the girl. No! It wasn't. It wasn't George. It was George. And that girlfriend of his that he ended up wanting to marry.
I'm gonna ask you one last time. Who do you want to lock in?
We're going with George.
You should have stuck to your guns. It was Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, it was Jerry. This is why when you solve a test, they tell you to just pick the first thing, not to think twice.
She said I wasn't sponge worthy. Wouldn't waste a sponge on me.
Moving on to the next one. Is it possible that I'm not as attractive as I think I am?
That's Elaine. Yeah, I can hear this sound. Pretty sure it's Elaine.
That is correct. It was Elaine.
Is it possible I'm not as attractive as I think I am?
Moving on to the next one. Do you have any idea how much time I wasted in this apartment?
I think this was Elaine again to the group. Actually, it could be Kramer.
To be fair,
Oh.
it is tricky because they all do spend a lot of time in the apartment. So,
No, as in who said it.
mhm.
It's either Elaine or Kramer. I'm not sure. I'm gonna trust my instincts, and I'm gonna go with Elaine. And then you're gonna say, you should have gone with Kramer. So yeah, I'll just go with Elaine.
Let me do my best impression. You should have gone with Kramer.
Oh, I knew it!
It was Kramer.
knew
It was
it.
Kramer.
Do you have any idea how much time I waste in this apartment?
Moving on to the
That's
next
true.
one. You know, I always wanted to pretend that I was an architect.
This one's easy. It's Costanza.
It's
who
just,
ends up
it's just too true to the
pretending.
character. It's just too true to the character. It was George Costanza.
Look, why couldn't you make me an architect? You know I always wanted to pretend that I was an architect.
Let's move on to the next one. People don't turn down money. It's what separates us from the animals.
I don't remember this one.
So
But
we're doing a deduction round here.
Yeah, we're doing a deduction. I'm gonna go with. What do you think?
I mean, I think I know the answer because I made the quiz, but
I think it's George. Yeah, I'm locking in George.
this, in fact, was Jerry Seinfeld.
I don't remember this episode.
People don't turn down money. It's what separates us from the animals.
Moving on to the next one. Borrowing money from a friend is like having sex. It just completely changes the relationship.
I think okay, so this one's either Jerry or George. I think it's Jerry again. Yeah, I think it's Jerry.
Maybe you should just follow your second intuition because this was George Costanza.
George. Damn it. That's happened so many times.
No. Borrowing money from a friend is like having sex.
And that concludes the trivia here today on guessing the quotes from Seinfeld. So at the end of this, you get a score of 12 out of 20. You want to take that as a passing grade? That's good.
I think you owe me an extra point, as discussed before.
That gives you a total of 13 out of 20.
Yep. I think that's a passing grade.
That concludes this episode. Anything you want to shout out?
I love Farhood.
You do. Now, the Twitch will be found in the description below. Thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and till next time.